That's probably one of my most traumatic incidents. Like, he comes back with a gun, starts shooting at me and says, "You sure you don't want to give me your keys?"
For many, the road to success is not always painted pretty with yellow bricks. Sometimes the darkest colors create the brightest pictures.
You know, when they were younger, they would party and do coke together, you know, my mom and my dad, and just while we were at the house as kids, as babies and shit, you know what I mean? That unlocked something in my brain. So I just started learning all these principles from, like I said, religious teachings, you know, elite classes, the brotherhood and the Freemasons and stuff. It's all, like I said, patterns. And so my life changed the most by just...
If you're watching this, it's time to clean your room. Please make sure to like and subscribe.
My name is Rudy Perez. Do a few different things, man. I run a $1 million janitorial company that I started working by myself. Built that up in about 3 years. I have another huge project in the works. So I have a crowd therapy business. It's a mobile one where I go and I treat people. But I'm into development of getting my own device made. And my partner, who's based out of Chicago area, has connection with Kevin Harrington from the Shark Tank.
Okay.
So if everything goes well, we'll get that into going.
You didn't come from $1 million business, $1 million background, coaching, multi-business owner. You know, like you didn't.
Yeah.
You didn't come from that.
No.
So take us back, bro, to where everything started for you, just life in general, and what was that like? Listen, you know it's time for you to get into therapy. Be honest with yourself. You about one crash out away from everything falling apart. And I know you talked to your homegirl and she said, "You doing just fine, you good, girl, ain't nothing wrong." And I know you talked to your homie too and he like, "Oh, bro, you good, keep pushing. But look, let's be honest. You've been seeing all these different types of posts, maybe from me, saying all these different things that have been resonating with you. But you haven't taken the steps, so I'm gonna make it real easy for you today. You're gonna click on the link. You're gonna fill out the form on the website. Keep it real discreet and we'll get you plugged in with a therapist who understands your experience, who relates to you, who doesn't see you as just another number, but sees you as a human being who's ready to start healing. So instead of crashing out, instead of doing the thing that can undo all of the things that you've been trying to build, let's just start therapy today.
I go back far, but ultimately when I look back and I start seeing the puzzle pieces really come together, it's probably, you know, high school. I was really good at baseball. You know, I was lucky. I was blessed. I was fast. I could throw, hit with power, do all that kind of good stuff. But I had a really hard upbringing. You know, my family dynamic was rough. I grew up in Stockton, California. If you don't know about Stockton, it's out there in, by the Sacramento area, San Francisco, in the valley, you know, rough place. A lot of gang, a lot of violence. Everybody that I knew really was into all that kind of stuff and couldn't really escape it. I come from lower class too, and so my parents didn't make it through high school. Like I said, or like you said, I didn't have anybody teaching me business stuff. I was just a little kid. I don't like the term, I think Eminem, you know, just a kid from the gutter, but I don't know, that was empowering to me for some reason, you know? But I get through high school, get into college because of baseball, and just making that shift of going to college and trying to take my life somewhat serious, not knowing what I wanted to do. I just try to just trust the process, you know what I mean? Like they say, trust the process. Sometimes you don't know where you're gonna end up, but just try to steer towards something. There's a bunch of that, man, and family abuse. My dad was a raging alcoholic. It was very traumatic for my brothers and I. I'm the oldest of 5 boys, so I had to also jump into that, you know, older brother leadership role, protector, which was a lot of stress growing up, man. Like the amount of stuff that I had to face internally, like, you know, my mind was the worst part. It's kind of worse than getting beat, you know. But yeah, my mom, she had it the worst. But like I said, man, everything that I went through, I wouldn't change a thing. It all just drove me to get to this point.
Absolutely, absolutely. You mentioned that you went to college. You graduated from college,
Yeah.
but neither one of your parents did. So you're a first-generation grad.
Mm-hmm.
First-generation grad. And also being raised in a household where abuse, physical abuse, verbal abuse, emotional abuse. It's all present. Bro, what was that experience like for you growing up in a household where it doesn't sound like it was supportive or very conducive for much emotional or intellectual growth? Or if it was, correct me. You know what I'm saying?
It was hard, you know, especially as an adult. You know, we get wiser with age, with experience. So back then, you know, I was just living through it, just kind of like on autopilot. You know, like you're just going through the experiences, not really understanding what's going on and why it's going on. It was extremely chaotic. You know, 5 boys. I didn't know if I mentioned it was all boys in the house though too, but and my mom ran a like in-home daycare kind of thing too. So it was just always chaotic, man. And then my dad, it's crazy because my dad, coolest dude. You meet him out, everybody just loves this dude, you know. But at home, man, it's different. You know, the alcohol comes and it's different. But yeah, I'd say after college, after I graduated, that's when I really start to understand, hey, we went through some things and we have the ability to change what that meant to us at the time. That's when I started getting into self-development, Think and Grow Rich, Tony Robbins. That's where that real big shift happened. I came to this point in my life. Actually, I was telling you, you know, a little earlier, but I'll give a quick recap. I was in a relationship for 9 years. Grew up all the way through junior college playing baseball. Once I left, I was still in that relationship, but I made the choice to leave out of state to kind of do my thing. Long story short, the reason I bring her up is because after I graduated college, we decided to break up and go our separate ways. So I then moved to Lincoln, which was a nearby city, and had to start from scratch, dude. Like I gave my entire life up. They say you want to do something crazy. You know, it's like I look back at a movie, you know, I always remember this thought. Like I see movies where people just up and they leave their life and start over and it's this crazy result, you know, always good. It's like I had the choice to do that and I just went with it, man. I said, you know, fuck it, let's go.
You bet on yourself.
Yeah,
You bet
and
on yourself.
that's that point, man. Just I got into self-development. I was going through this relationship and I had that choice of like, hey, bro, like you have nothing to lose right now. This is the time to go out, party. You're somewhat depressed, you know. Actually, I was depressed, I'm not gonna lie. But you can go out, drink, try to have fun, escape the feelings, you know, whatever. But I remember asking myself at this one point, was like, do you want to be different? Because this is the chance to make this one choice. You can spiral out, you can procrastinate, or you can just take this energy, all these emotions, and use it. And I don't know. I was just, like I said, I was fortunate enough to be able to let my mind comprehend that thought in the first place, and I just ran with it.
Definitely. I wanna put a bookmark on that point that you just mentioned, because I think there's so many chapters that led up to that moment, and you gave a little synopsis of some of them. But I think it's super important to dig deep into those moments because it creates context and it starts to paint a picture for the man that you are and the man that you are continuing to become today.
Yeah.
And I believe in like the whole purpose of this podcast, bro, is there are so many people out there who are writing their books that believe that the chapter that they're going through needs to be etched out, pulled out, erased, throw this in the trash because damn, this is fucking up my story.
Yeah.
This is fucking it up. And so it's in those moments, those chapters that you gave synopsises of, or how the fuck you say it?
Yeah.
It's in those chapters that really start to create hope for individuals. Yeah. Because it's like, damn, bro has a multi-million-dollar business and he went through that just like I'm going through. Like, this is so I can.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
That was me, man, back in the day. Like, you know how many people have started from way worse than where I started from too, and have went 10 times past me or more. You know, like it's fascinating to me. That's where faith comes in, just believing like God is that great, man. Like if you just believe and you have faith, you know, you get rewarded. And we'll get into that as we get into this. I want to break down like what I really spent my time doing right now. The best way I work with people is I teach you how to recreate your identity. And when you do that, that's when results really start to happen.
Yeah.
You know, it's like the definition of insanity is like doing the same thing over and over and expecting change. Well, if you're going to keep waking up, being the same you, doing your same morning routine, making your same decisions throughout the day, how do you expect to have any type of change? Like everything external that we experience right now is all directly a reflection of how we see ourselves, how we want to experience things. And it sounds funny that I say how we want to. We don't necessarily consciously want to, but that's what we're creating inside of our mind unconsciously. Yeah. A lot of people don't know about the two different, conscious and subconscious minds. There's actually, sometimes I speak with people, there's a third. It's a super conscious, but that's basically like that God, like directly connected kind of consciousness. Absolutely. Where, everything's flowing. You're spinning a freestyle and it's just like, dude, where is all this coming from? Like you can't claim it because you don't know where it's coming from, but it's coming from somewhere great. It's creative, it's imaginative, that's what God is.
That's that Napoleon Hill right there. Yeah. I feel you.
Yeah.
So look, bro, take us back, man. You're a kid growing up in Stockton, California, with parents who love you, but they love and the way that they show it and the things that are going on seem normal at the time, but they really aren't that normal. What is one of those defining experiences that you went through that you felt like, or you feel like, made a drastic impact on the way that you viewed the world, the way that you viewed yourself as a kid?
It's probably one of my most traumatic incidents, but it was a night my parents were fighting. My dad was drunk. I think probably on Vicodin too. Like both of the combination of those two makes him a very angry dude, and he had, he grew up with a past, a very hard childhood himself.
Break it down.
He's the oldest of three. His dad essentially just left him, just deserted him and his mom and his two younger siblings. And he ran to the streets, for love and support. My grandma was broke, man. She came from a household of nine other siblings. But yeah, she was on, food stamps, EBT, all that kind of stuff, whatever they had back then. But she was the mother of the three of them, riding to school in the rain on a bike just to get an education to become a teacher. But my dad ran to the streets. I don't know, he's probably went through some stuff that he's probably would never speak about to anybody else. Done a lot of drugs, running the streets, all that kind of stuff. But anyways, having that kind of stuff happen, just kind of giving you a little basis of who he is. There was one night they were arguing and she took his truck keys with him, and he wanted my car at the time. It was like 2 a.m. I'm like, no, you ain't having my car. Like, you're drunk, dude. Like, it's plain. Like, I could see it plain of sight. Anyways, he comes back with a gun, starts shooting at me and says, you sure you don't want to give me your keys? And like, of course, he wasn't shooting to kill me. He was shooting to scare me, but he was drunk, bro. Like, one of the bullets was about in between 6 and 12 inches away from hitting my head. I was laying on the bed and he was just, right over my head. But yeah, that's when, like, I don't know, as a kid, I was probably like 15, like still a kid. That's what really changed for me. And I felt like I had to really start looking at life differently. But that's one thing, like, it doesn't affect me nowadays, but when I look back, that's what made like a really big impact in my life. One of those things you'll never forget. And if my own dad could do that to me, you know what I mean? Like, it broke a lot of my trust for people for a long time, but ultimately, man, like, all that is just a lie. Just because one person broke your trust doesn't mean you're going to experience more people that's going to break your trust.
Yeah.
But he has his demons
going through
too.
That, that's hard. It's hard to see that. You know what I mean? I think in hindsight, it's easy to come to that understanding. But as a kid, when you're creating a meaning of the world and of life around you, one of the most vital relationships, you can't even like you can't be present and feel like I'm protected, I'm safe. Because, man, even if he wasn't really trying to take your life.
Yeah. Yep.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
In that moment, how did you reconcile with it in your mind, or were you able to? Did you talk to anybody about that, or did you just kind of eat it and keep going?
I think it's weird, man, because this is one thing looking back that I never like truly understood, but I went through so many experiences like that, man, like very close to just as traumatic. Even to my later years, man, like just recently in the past few years, like he still drinks to this day. They're still together. You know, it's crazy to me. But anyways, what I was getting at is, yeah, man, I just use that and just try to fuel myself. You know what I mean? Like it happened, but all the things that happened to me, for some reason, my mind works to where it's just like selective memory. They don't stick that much. I kind of just, that's how I dealt with it as a kid. I think I just acted like they never happened to me. It's been a tool, man, honestly. But at the same time, I can't remember a lot of my past. I think because, you know, I trained myself to be that way.
Yeah.
So selective memory, like I could tap into certain things from the past, you know, but they come and go as they please.
In therapy, we call that derealization and depersonalization. It's the way that an individual copes with intense to a level where it becomes physically uncomfortable, like emotional experiences.
Yeah.
We depersonalize and we derealize so that we can just kind of exist. And like you said, when you do that, man, there's periods where I'm just like, I don't even know what happened there.
Yeah.
I don't even know what happened.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's how trauma works, bro.
It happened a lot. And it's crazy you say that, and you said about the physical part. Right when you said that, I had a flash of like, you know, one of my past traumatic incidents, and just feel my body kind of like remembering a little bit of how tense it was, you know. I never had before, but once you said that, kind of clicked, man. That's how powerful the mind is, you know what I mean? But yeah, I don't know, for me, it's a tool. I learned how to use it as a tool, at least, to, you know, not being able to remember certain things. I mean, it's like I remember, but I don't remember like in depth so much. I don't remember all the emotions attached to it. And I guess that's what helps me like.
It's like, you've been to movie theater before, right?
Yeah.
Nobody remembers the shit that goes on the screen 30 minutes before. You know how if you get in there, the light's still on. They got the little shits flipping, and they got the little quiz and all these. Nobody remembers that, but we do remember the trailers and the movie. Once the lights dim down. And that's how it works. You know what I'm saying? When we depersonalize from the traumas that we go through, they're like that beginning part that's on the screen, but I'm not really there. If I thought about it hard enough, I might be like, I think I remember one of them questions that maybe, but it's gone. But the crazy thing is that there's this book, it's called The Body Keeps the Score. The body really does. And there's moments where when we have these repressed traumas, or these traumas that we detached ourselves from, they start to show up in different ways. And sometimes we don't even understand why. In emotional responses, in ways that we experience. Even like you just said, like when I brought it up, you were like, man, I was just thinking about this experience and my body felt this thing. There might even be times, bro, where people are talking about stuff that you might think is completely irrelevant. And it's like, your body feels this thing and it's like, man, what was that? I'm curious though, bro, if you're comfortable with it and you're open to it, bro, talk about what came to mind in that moment when we were just talking about that experience.
With my dad?
No. So like, you know, where I was like the emotional feeling, and you were like, man, I was just sitting there thinking about that. Or I was sitting there thinking,
that moment. So I was just sitting here, you know, and it's like it's like I could see my body doing it at that time, but I also could feel it right here. It's just like a small little sensation over my front side of like, you know, if you get cold, you kind of just shiver up to the front. It's kind of like a little feeling like that. You know, but I could tell it was like a stress or an anxiety type of energy, not so much a cold energy.
Do you get that often?
Nah.
No. Ooh. Okay.
No, that's what I'm saying. That's why I had to bring that up right there. I had never had that perspective on the emotional, like especially physical side of it. Like I could remember the emotional stuff, like logically and stuff like that, but that physical body remembrance, like it's part of the five senses, man. They all play an equal part.
Absolutely.
You know, so.
Absolutely. Bro, what was your relationship with your dad like growing up?
Man. I could explain it to you in a bunch of different ways. He was my superhero, man, for the longest time. I was just kind of accustomed to him just being a hard ass, you know. He was a lover though, dude. Like I said, when he's sober, he's the fucking coolest dude. He'll go out of his way. I feel like he'd come and he'd protect me in any situation, you know, like if you're gonna give bad credit to people, you gotta give them their good credit too, you know what I mean? But yeah, I idolized him, man, for a long time. until I started getting into my teenage years, I just started realizing more of the stuff that was going on. And even then, like, we still have a relationship today. It's just, it's not as great as it could be. You know, I don't know that it ever could, just the things I've experienced and stuff. And it's crazy because, you know, he doesn't like to take a lot of credit for anything. I think because at times he was a great dad, which he was, that it's okay to make, you know, seem like nothing else ever happened in a sense. And so it's hard for him to understand that. He's a true definition of a narcissist. And I don't feel bad saying that in case he watches this. And if he does, I'm sorry and I love you, but this is my story. You know, this is just the facts of my life.
Yeah.
And so it's tough because it's a very broken relationship. I'm real close with my mom, you know, like her protector, her best friend. Like we talk almost every day on the phone. But yeah, man, that's what that dynamic is kind of like.
Who is your mom in this whole picture of who you've become to be?
She was a very comforting mom. Like you could tell she loved us, but she didn't get love from her parents. She comes from another broken, alcoholic parents, abuse, kind of like the whole family line getting passed on. She didn't get a lot of love expressed to her as a kid, so she didn't really know how to like give it, especially physically. We're not like the super love you, hug your mom and like just love her, kiss her on the cheek type, you know, like we hug, we say I love you, but it's very like, you know, the kind of shit you would do with a homie or, you know, best friend too, in a sense. But always there to hear us, have our back, support us. But, you know, she had her stuff too. You know, she's always been on, you know, like antidepressant pills. And, you know, when they were younger, they would party and do coke together, you know, my mom and my dad. And just while we were at the house as kids, as babies and shit, you know what I mean? So definitely like there's things about her as well. And I'm sorry to be putting my parents on blast in case anybody's listening. And like, please don't judge them. They're wonderful people. But like I said, it's my story. But like I said, me and my mom, we're best friends. You know what I mean? Like I love her. She's still with my dad. I don't like that decision. But you know, it's her world, her experiences. She gets to choose.
Mm-hmm. Have you ever had talks about her or talks with her about what you experienced as a kid?
Oh, absolutely. She knows, you know, like with 5 boys, all having problems growing up, you know, like you can see it, you can't hide it as a kid, especially 4 younger brothers. They're not necessarily in the self-development world like I am. They all have their own stories, but yeah, she knows. And the whole family, like all we've ever wanted was for my parents to divorce. It's crazy you say that. It's like a collective of a family. Every single member doesn't want them to be together since time, you know, since the beginning. But they are, and it's affected the family in a lot of ways, especially like parties and just getting together. There's a lot of problems in the family right now because of that. But it's just what it is. I got my own family, you know. I got my wife, a 1-year-old son at home. Yeah. I choose my network. I choose my friends. You know, just because someone's not your blood brother doesn't mean they're not your brother. You know, so I have family that I created on my own choice, and it's absolutely perfect.
Absolutely, absolutely. I want to talk about that because I can relate to that, but I want to talk about that point. And a lot of people, many people don't even realize that is rooted in trauma itself. Mm-hmm. The saying, I create my family, even people who aren't rooted in blood. And I'm not saying it's a bad thing.
No, for sure.
But I want to acknowledge this because, man, when we have, which many of us don't, many of us that are watching this, you probably don't. And so y'all probably relate to this as well. Mm-hmm. But when many of us don't have solid primary relationships, our parents, where we feel safe, secure, loved, cared for, our siblings riddled with trauma as well from not having solid primary relationships, we then seek for connection outside of this ecosystem that's supposed to create the deepest connection for us, you know? And so then we start to adopt the idea of, man, blood don't make us any closer, you know? And it's not a bad thing because we all just at a deep level, bro, as a human being, like we all crave connection with other human beings.
Yeah,
we crave belonging. We crave relationship. Yeah. And when we're not given that, we have to seek outside. We have to. And I think so many people don't even realize that. And And when we're in a place where we don't realize that, it's easy to perpetuate that cycle over and over again. And me saying that is not saying that you're perpetuating that cycle or you're even trying to do that. But you mentioned your mom and dad growing up in these broken households. And I bet the last thing that they wanted to create was a broken household.
Yeah.
But it inevitably, I think that's the word. I think that's how you say
Inevitably,
it.
yeah.
That shit is fucking tongue twister,
Bro,
bro.
I'm not a guy of vocabulary like that either, so we're good.
Facts. But it ultimately created that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So many times we create things unconsciously. There we go talking about. We unconsciously create the things that we fear the most.
Yeah.
When you look at the dynamic that your mom and dad had when it came to their marriage, when it came to their parenting, when it came to the family that they were developing for you and your siblings, from the outside looking in and in hindsight, do you believe that their intention was to create this broken environment? And why or why not?
I say no, absolutely not. I could say that without hesitation. But I like to use this term. It's very popular, but they're just in the matrix. You know what I mean? They're going through life, not understanding the consequences of their thoughts, their emotions, and their actions. You know what I mean? I think part of the reason why they're still together is because they don't want to create a broken family of, divorce, which to us, I feel like that would have been better for us as kids, Crazy to say, but I don't know. That's why at the end of the day, no matter your upbringing or experience, we ultimately get to choose what that means to us. Because if you try to control something that's uncontrollable, you're going to go crazy. But what you can't, we have so much control, man. Like if we have time, I could spend hours on it.
Go ahead.
But ultimately, we have so much more control over life than you can even comprehend. And there's ways to go about that kind of stuff. I kind of just went over it real briefly, but I didn't create this. I know someone thought of this, but I like to call it my metaphorical tea. I'm not a tea drinker for one, but I drink metaphorical tea. And what that means is you have your thoughts, and a thought is nothing until you attach an emotion to it. So you have all these bad thoughts about yourself. You have good thoughts about yourself. None of them mean anything, but the moment you attach an emotion to it, it becomes real. That's what sinks into the subconscious. And then you start running with these emotions. You start thinking these bad thoughts, the emotions get heightened. Now you're starting to make decisions based off of, your emotions in that moment. But if you can control your thoughts, attach healthier emotions to them, now your actions will be different. So your whole results will be different. You have the power to do that in any given situation. Doesn't matter how difficult of a position that you're in, how difficult your story is. You have the ability to change it. Doesn't mean it's not hard, but you have the capability to just snap your finger and in a moment, you could take up a new identity. That happens to people, like schizophrenia or split personalities. That's unconsciously happening to them. But just the same way that it happens to them, we can choose to have, like I said, jump into that new version of ourselves. This version of us right now is dead, never coming back to life. We don't make the same decisions. We don't look at life the same. We don't feel, helpless anymore, because we understand now, like we're the co-creators. God made us that great. We're His children. So.
I think this is a good conversation in a good space, and I want to sit here for a little bit. And I also want to push back a little bit and spark some discussion from you.
Yeah.
How do I assume a new identity metaphorically, mentally, when every day I'm going back to the very things that created the identity that I don't want? Every day I have to face my alcoholic dad, abusing my mom, creating an unsafe space for myself and my sibling. Like how do I tell myself like I could be different, I could do different, while still in the fire of the trauma?
Yeah, real quick, I almost forgot. As a licensed therapist, I'm big on mental health and I'm big on making sure that you're taking care of you. And I also want to get rid of this stigma that we got towards mental health. Like, there's nothing wrong with talking to a therapist. So if you're somebody that's out there that really wants to start getting their mind right, who wants to really start understanding their emotions and being able to process things that you probably repressed, that you probably ain't talked about, that you might have been even ashamed about talking about. Or check this out. You might not be ashamed about it and you just ain't found a person for you to talk to. You want to find somebody that's relatable, that can understand you, got a little swag, you know what I'm saying? A little swag. And they not too far removed. Make sure that you tap in with Bear Company Counseling. All you gotta do is hop down in the description, click the link, put in your info, and the front desk rep will reach out to you and get you plugged in with a therapist that I promise you, as long as you're ready, will help you to get whatever you need right up here so that you can succeed in every other avenue and aspect of your life. Tap in with a therapist today at Bear Company Counseling. Now, you can get back to the video for real. I promise I won't hop back in again.
Yeah. I got three different answers to that. Okay. First one and most important is faith. Faith that there is a different outcome. It's crazy how faith works. Like, for example, even people who could, give you scripture off the top of their head like nothing, but they're not out here having faith in their abilities to create this life they desire. Like, do you really have faith? You have education, but do you have faith? So having faith that there is a possibility of a different outcome. To me, I would argue anybody who says that there's not a better outcome for themselves, because I don't think God operates that way. That's just a personal belief. Second, and these are other two important things that people could do for free no matter the given situation. One is join a community or try to get yourself around people who care, have been through similar experiences, and want to help. They're out there everywhere. So go get yourself around like a better community of people as much as you can, even if it's 30 minutes a day. You know what I mean? Get yourself around those people. You need to kind of experience that with other people so you could believe that those people are out there. It becomes more real. And lastly is, if possible, try to get a therapist or try to get a coach or someone who can help you get out of that situation. There's a lot of people who do free work, man, like really just care to get people out of these situations. And so, long story short, no matter the situation, man, like faith above all else, and go get yourself around some people who care and someone who wants to help you get to the next point of life.
Absolutely. I think if we put that into context for a kid, because a lot of times, like, I think if I was younger and I heard what you said, I'd be like, bro, shut the fuck up. That don't make no sense. Like, it don't make no sense. But really, if we look at it and we break it down, some of the most impactful people in young kids' lives when they're going through chaos is that one teacher who really gave a fuck about them. Is that one coach who fucking picked them up every day, took them to fucking McDonald's, let them come over to the crib and play the PlayStation. It's the one mentor from the Boys and Girls Club or teammates program or whatever the fuck it is who actually invested extra time. Like, that's when you're talking about, like, go get you a community or go get, like, that's the person. I look back on my life, bro, and like, I didn't grow up just like dirt poor or anything like that. Like, my mom had a college degree. My mom actually got a law degree. Didn't get to practice law though until after I graduated high school. Okay. My mom was just trying to make ends meet. Yeah.
Smart woman, get that.
You know what I'm saying? My mom, quick little side story. I love you, Mom. My mom had me, and then 2 days later had to go take an exam for law school. She was pregnant with me while she was in law school. My mom tells me stories about me being a newborn baby, having to hold me and fucking read through law books and study as I'm sitting there screaming, because I was a little crybaby, bro. I was a fucking cry baby. Yeah. And she's like trying to study and trying to, like, my mom, dude, I love my mom, man, because my mom is like the definition for me of somebody who took her situation, took her circumstances, took all of that and said, fuck it, I'm gonna make it happen. Yeah. And part of me is like, damn, my mom is really like that. But then the other part is like, damn, my mom really got a lot of trauma because my mom grew up where she had to worry about like, and I love my grandma too. My grandma, man, Grandma Jackie, I love you. But she grew up where one of my grandma's partners was like trying to kill her. Grew up where her dad, my grandpa, he got like 20-something kids, ain't shit.
Damn.
But he cool. He got all of them cool. All that shit is wild. My grandpa stealing money from my mom. Still like, that's crazy. I don't even call him grandpa. I ain't never call him grandpa. I call him Jerry Holly. Jerry Holly, we all got this Holly nose, big ass nose. In Omaha, when people see me, they be like, "You related to Jerry Holly?"
Yeah.
But anyways, just growing up and going through my stuff, I had a mentor who I had two mentors. One was in 7th grade, Miss Best. She saw potential in me, but she also saw the way that I was moving. Yeah. Cause I wasn't moving the greatest, but I was smart as fuck, bro. Like I was smart as fuck. But I was just getting into shit that I didn't need to get into. And she saw that and she's like, man, let me take this dude under my wing. And she did that with a lot of students throughout the years, man. You would go into her office and you would see all these different student athletes, young Black kids, man, white kid, all of it, just like pictures of her, like these kids that she mentored and really cared about. Yeah. And she plugged me in with this dude. His name's Steve Warren, man. He took me under his wing and he's the reason I play college football, to be honest with you, because I didn't give a fuck about college football. I didn't give a fuck about college. Yeah. I didn't. But I remember one conversation that I had with him. He was like, Payton, you're good at sports. Like, this is your ticket. Keep going with it.
Yeah, use it while you can.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And so when you talk about getting spaces where people care about you and that influence, like for a young person, find that teacher, or like if you have that teacher or you have that mentor, or you have that somebody that cares about you, like listen to them, follow them. But for some people, they don't even got that shit. You know what I'm saying? For some people, their primary relationships is fucked up. Their secondary relationships, so their friends, their immediate circle, all of them don't got good relationships with their parents too. And so then they click up, they come together, and it's just a bunch of people who, man, don't nobody give a fuck about us. Yeah. So fuck all of y'all, and it's just us. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And so to them, how do you explain the concept of have faith, find a community of people that are doing X, Y, and Z that care, like how? Because everything that you're saying is true. I don't disagree with you. You know what I'm saying?
No, I mean, especially if we're going to be talking about kids too, like that's different, you know, than talking to an adult, you know, because their minds don't work the same. Ultimately, man, like what advice I'll try to give a kid is like, you just got to make them feel like you can relate to them somehow. If you can, you got something to work with. If not, it could be a little more tricky. I don't think there's, you know, one right way to go about it, you know, as far as like working with kids, but I don't know. I'll just try to tell them like, look, I promise you that one day you keep weathering the storm, you keep going through this, life's gonna get easy. And it's because you're going through this right now and it's so hard that it's gonna get easier and it's gonna seem better. You know what I mean? And, you know, just talk to them like you, ultimately, like you said, you just need one person, you know, that one connection. Like everybody just needs one. People don't need 2, 3, 5, you know, one person does the difference, you know, just try to talk to them like, hey, look, you just need to find one person, you know, like be open to it. They're not going to understand law of attraction, but that's the law of attraction. I bet when you're in certain situations, I know for me, especially when I wanted a mentor, I would just focus every day. I want to find a mentor that I align with. I want to find a coach. I want to find someone that is basically was me, you know, like they went through this hard stuff. I want to know that it's okay to make it out. And I know that might be hard to get through the brain of a child or a kid, you know, but if you can somehow just get that through them, like, look, just be open to trying to find somebody that's going to help you because they're going to come.
Absolutely.
You know?
Bro, for you, as you were going through your shit, you play baseball. And so I'm assuming that baseball probably had the positive adult mentorship for you growing up. Can you talk a little bit about who were some impactful people in baseball, or even outside of baseball, that really played a major role in you being able to not succumb to the environment that you were being born into?
Yeah. Baseball is funny looking back, just in the sense of like, I was in it, man. I was good. I was always pitching in the championship games. I played all positions. I was leadoff batter. But my dad was always extremely hard on me, man. Like, so it wasn't like it was enjoyable, but being out there, the relationships that I made from my teammates, you know, some of the coaches that I just looked up into and idolized, because I did love baseball. It was hard to love it because I didn't necessarily enjoy it like I could have, you know, because of my dad having to do it. But yeah, there's a lot of different coaches, man, along the way, just different people all around. Like, I got buddies that I played ball with as a kid who are still homies to this day, you know. Just people that I would, you know, let watch my kid or like leave them with if I had to, you know, for an extended time. And sports is great for an upbringing, man. Like, if kids have the opportunities to experience sports and the community and all that, it's great. I mean, there's a lot of adversity in sports too, so you're also learning on that aspect. I didn't really get taught that. Of course, coaches always talk about, hey, you know, your adversity, overcome the adversity. You don't understand that as a kid, though. You know what I mean? But I don't know. It's interesting looking back, you know, having these types of conversations. Yeah. I could explain something different about the same story, probably every different conversation I have about it, you know?
Absolutely. I do believe that sports are pivotal for kids. Mm-hmm. For a couple of the reasons that you just mentioned. One, like, it teaches life lessons that you don't even realize until you fucking got painful knees and shit. Yeah. And you in the gym, you like, damn, I don't move like I used to. And you think you think about the shit that you think about the conditioning, you think about all the dumbass practices, getting yelled at, you think about all those things, and you're like, damn. Oh, so that's what that adversity meant. Mm-hmm. That's when I took that loss, not giving up and continue. Oh, that's what that meant. Oh, having to train every day, discipline. Oh,
discipline, commitment, man.
Consistent. That's what those things meant. Yeah. So I have to show up even when we fucking suck ass. Mm-hmm. Pause. You know, I have to still show up in those moments. These are those things that were being instilled in me through this medium of sports. Yeah. But then also on the opposite side, like you said, you built some of the greatest bonds and greatest connections with your teammates. Yeah. And I believe that's another space, bro, which I wanna talk about a little bit, man, because I had a lot of homies growing up that I played basketball growing up. Basketball was my shit, bro. Like, I started playing competitively in 5th grade for the Omaha Warriors. Shout out Coach Kev, Coach Skip. Nice. Love y'all to death. But I hated y'all in 5th grade. I was fat, bro. I was fat as fuck. Little fat ass
wouldn't even guess, bro.
Oh, man. And I sucked, bro. Yeah. I was big as shit. In 5th grade, I weighed like 200 pounds. I was probably like 5'5", 5'6".
Damn.
So I'm big, maybe even 5'8".
That's bigger than me right now.
Bro, I look like a baby face, chubby face, fat ass, grown ass man. You know what I'm saying?
Hey, look, man, and they was on your side, bro. You know what I mean? You're a good looking dude now.
Appreciate it. Yeah. But they used to run us to death. And I had so many teammates and so many homies on the team, bro. And like, we developed this bond. But it's crazy how, as we get older, the individuals that didn't stick around with sports, because I quit basketball after my sophomore year. Mm-hmm. I quit because I was making money selling drugs. Yeah. And that's a whole nother story for a whole nother. Matter of fact, you mind if I tell this story real quick? No, this is your interview, bro. But
hey, bro, I'm just here to have a good conversation. You know what I mean?
So sophomore year, I went to Omaha Central. We just won the holiday tournament. In January, there's always a Monday that you have off before you go back to school after Christmas break. We had a Monday practice, and I remember my JV coach, I ain't even gonna name Coach Holland. Fuck it. Coach Holland. Fuck you, Coach Holland. But it's cool now. I ain't mad at you, man. I get it. But fuck you back then. I remember we had to do this drill, bro. It's called a tip drill. And so it's full court. And mind you, like, my weight would fluctuate between seasons. So in season, I would go from like 300 pounds down to 240 because of how much I was running and how less I was eating McDonald's, because I ain't had time to eat McDonald's like that no more. And I would stop smoking too, because like there's no way I'm doing all this conditioning and no way. So we had to do this thing called tip drill. Full court, it would be like 6 or 7 of us, where half of us on one side, half of us on the other side. You running down and you got to tip the ball off the backboard and everybody's running. You can't let the ball hit the ground. We had to do that shit for 5 minutes and be done.
Damn.
My ass, bro, I think I would get us to like 2 minutes and I'm gassed.
Yeah.
Ball hit the ground. The fuck, Payton? What the fuck? Everybody mad. I'm like, fuck, bro. I keep on fucking up this drill and he's making us do it over and over and over. And I keep fucking it up. Like he's trying to prove a point. Like, get your big ass in shape. And so what do I do after a couple of times of fucking it up? I reach down, I start holding my ankle. I'm like my shit hurt. He look over at me. He's like, Coach Holland's like, oh, Payton, so your ankle hurts. Your ankle hurts. Oh, you're hurt now. Okay. Let's see what our head coach, Coach Barnes, shout out Coach Barnes. Head coach, he was like, let's see what Coach Barnes has to say about that and see if you suit up at our next game. I said, man, fuck you. My shit hurt, bro. Go ahead and tell him I don't give a fuck. Just like that. He's like, oh, that's how you feel? I'm gonna let him know that too. I said, man, fuck you and Coach Barnes. Y'all could go suck each other dick. He's like, oh, okay. Went over and told Coach Barnes that. Coach Barnes is on the opposite side of practice with varsity. He yells over at me. He said, Payton, get your shit, get out. I'm like, fuck both of y'all. Grab my shit, get out. Mind you, at that time, my mom had just bought me a pair of, they call Hyper Dunks. Hyper Dunk shoes. I remember she got Nike ID, bought them for me. My mom never spent over $100 on a pair of shoes. Ever. For sure, ever. And this was the first time she ever spent over $100 on a pair of shoes for me. I don't know why she did it. I remember one Christmas she bought me like some Team Jordans. She would like, we would go to Payless, get the BOGOs, buy one, get one. You know what I'm saying? I was always embarrassed, which got me, like I never needed anything. I always wanted. And that ultimately is what got me into selling drugs and shit. Cause I'm like, I'm gonna make my own money. My mom is trying to make it happen for me and my siblings. Like, fuck it, I'll make it happen. I get my own, you know what I'm saying? Easy. But he kicks me out of practice and I go right back to doing the shit that I was doing before. Selling drugs, I'm smoking heavy, going to McDonald's. Like, I was like, fuck it. He kicked me off the team, give a fuck, like whatever. Week goes by and I'm sitting in the cafeteria and Coach Barnes, our head coach, he comes over and he's like, Payton, come here. And I go over to him and he's like, why haven't you been at practice? And I was like, what you mean, why haven't I been at practice? He said, why haven't you been at practice? Where have you been? I said, you kicked me off the team. He said, I didn't kick you off the team. I kicked you out of practice for the day. You were talking crazy. He said, are you gonna come back? And I remember in that moment, it was like the Matrix. Ooh, everything slowed down, bro. Everything slowed down.
Like red pill, blue pill types.
And I remember my mind just started flipping through like all of the things that I would gain from going back and all of the things that I would lose from going back. And in that moment, my 15, almost 16-year-old brain was like, if I go back, I gotta start conditioning again. I gotta go to practice every day after school. I can't kick it with the homies. I can't smoke. I can't make these plays. I can't. And I remember I was just like, nah, I'm good. I ain't coming back. And he said, okay, well, man, like, we always got a spot for you. We really value you. We want you here. So if you ever want to come back, just let me know. And I said, yeah, all right.
Damn.
And I stopped playing. I stopped playing, bro.
Yeah, that's tough.
But me telling this whole story was was all to tie together. I remember so many of the homies that I started growing up with playing basketball, like they all eventually like stopped.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And I watched a lot of them just like fall to the streets.
Yeah.
Like one of the dudes I was playing with, he got double life. Another one killed. Another one, like, bro, the sense of community that you get from sports is real. From your perspective though, what made it different for you to like stick through it and like actually take it to the next level, given your circumstances?
I don't know. I think a big factor probably was just, it was my place to like escape, be away from all the crazy stuff going on at home and everything. Like I said, I enjoyed it too, so I had fun while I was doing it. But I was always good, man. Like, I'm competitive. I'm not that big hoorah dude. Like, I'm not gonna talk shit on the field, but I'm like that. I don't know, like, call it like a quiet sniper. Like, I'll sit there, I'll be like, you won't hear me talking, but then here I come, Like, damn, where'd this dude come from? Or like, oh, he's showing me with his actions type of stuff. So I was competitive in that aspect, Always kind of like a leader, but not the leader I'm not doing the big, crazy, like, hype speeches. I'm a chill, but yeah, I'm gonna go and show it with it, by example. And I don't know, I kind of just naturally fell into that in sports, just that's where I fell into. I didn't do it like on purpose per se, but I don't know, I like rising to the occasion, just something inside of me that just likes to, just that challenge, I like to embrace it.
Definitely. You graduate from high school. What happens after that when it comes to your development, your sports? Like, where does it take you?
Yeah, so that's after high school, I go to junior college. I do 2 years of junior college out in Stockton, Delta College, the baseball team at the time, top schools for baseball, our junior colleges in the whole state of California. And California is separate. Like, they have the Junior College World Series for the rest of the nation. California got their own. Like, that's how competitive it is. So I came from a program. The dude played, my coach, Coach Peters, Reed Peters. He's with University of Pacific now. But anyways, he played AAA ball for the Los Angeles Angels. He almost got called up and played pro. But so he ran a legit program there. It was hard, man. Like, I didn't enjoy it. Looking back, I'm like, man, this dude knew what he was doing. That's why he was successful, but it was tough.
Break it down real quick. Break it down. What was tough about it? Like, what was days looking like?
Yeah, so I'm coming out of high school to where you're just living, the high school life, to where you go to junior college, you have to sign in to like the study zone before your first class at like by 6:30, 7 a.m. You're in there, you have to do so many hours a week. I forgot the hours a week. You have to do like, I don't know, like 12. Depends a little bit on your schedule too. Then we got weights. We got practice at 12 if you can make it. Official practice started at like 1 or 2 once all the classes were done. Practice from 12 to 5 or 6, go hit weights, and then you're done for the day. That was every day. And bro, it was intense. Yeah. It was intense. But just going through that, I didn't embrace it. I didn't take it so serious, but you go through it and you learn from it. That's what kind of started that whole like, all right, this is getting real now. Like, I'm more of an adult type. Start taking things and seeing things a little different. Like, it's junior college. My career can go a bunch of different ways.
Yeah. Real quick, because I don't want to miss this part. What was that 5 to 6 hour practice like? Like, walk us through that shit. Like,
oh yeah, man, just a progression of stretching correctly, warming up correctly, spending time doing that, going into like little drills where, you're throwing one hoppers to people, or you're like doing bunting drills or anything. We have like a defensive practice and then an offensive practice, but it's a whole school or team of like 50 dudes. And so batting practices were extended, infield, outfields were extended, just getting through everybody, but do scrimmages all the time where, it was tough. It's something different every day, man, but it was all like methodical, just laid out, or like working on the little skills. And I just wish I can go back and have a different intent and approach. But
how do you think it would have went differently if you did?
I changed a lot, man. Like, honestly, the biggest thing I'll change going back is I had a really good first year. My second year, kind of fell into the ego man of like, I don't want to say an I guy, but I was like quicker to anger. Things didn't go my way. I was stupid back then too. I started juicing. Yeah, I think that probably played a part in like being a little more emotional. 'Cause I'm not really an emotional person to start.
You was trying to have that Barry Bonds?
Yeah, bro. That was one of the dumbest things I ever done in my life. Because I didn't need it, bro. I was so naturally talented. I really didn't need it. I think it really held me back. But so the emotional side of sports, man, like the mental approach to the game, I would have taken so much differently. And that's at every at bat. That's emotions. That's like the way you taking a ground ball is like, even it's better to take 5 like good practice swings a day than it is take 100 bad. You know what I mean? Like it's not about how much, it's about your intent, like how you're trying to get better from what you're doing. You know, so I think I would have just approached everything differently. You know, like this all plays into the grand scheme of thing. Being more disciplined, taking school a little more seriously, just a bunch of stuff like that, man.
For sure.
But the emotional side that's the main one.
Yeah. Bro, you mentioned it, bro. So let's go there. Juicing. Juicing. How did you first start that? How did it change you physically, mentally, emotionally? And what are side effects from it that you experienced long after you stopped?
Yeah. Not to throw anyone under the bus, but my dad gave me my first shot in junior college, bro. I was like 18, 19, man. Like that, I feel like that really fucked up my development a bit. But yeah, man, I didn't know as much about it either. I could have done it a lot smarter back then. I wouldn't have done it at all, but you know, there was a way. I didn't go about it the smartest way, or he didn't guide me the smartest way. I was always in decent shape. Like I said, I was always the fastest dude on the team, or you know, right there, no one's beating me. But yeah, I was naturally strong too, but just getting stronger, man. Like squatting four plates on each side, something stupid like that wasn't even necessary. You know, hit the ball a little further, but the kind that I took was Deca, mixed it with testosterone, but Deca makes you blow up. So I lost some flexibility, probably lost a little speed. And then, yeah, man, I think just looking back, the negative side effects of doing it that young is like, I feel like my testosterone levels go like this from time to time, to where I feel like, you know, like you just got it, and then there's days where you just feel like lethargic, and, you know, like, especially like, you know, with your partner, like you just don't feel like up all the time. You feel me? You're ready to get down, you know? So I think it's just kind of messed with me a little bit like that sense.
Is that even to this day?
Yeah, not a lot though. Just, you know, it just comes and goes. And a lot of it has to do with my stress levels, my diet, if I'm exercising or not. Like it's not, I wouldn't say it's all just that, but I definitely think that it plays a part.
Most definitely. All right, so junior college experience, intense. You out there, first year, great. Second year, where do you go from there?
Yeah, so my second year wasn't great. So I wasn't great in school too. I really not flunked out, but messed up in high school. Just going back real quick, my dad made me move to a new high school because they had a better baseball program, but I was with my ex at the time. And so it wasn't my choice. So I kind of rebelled in school, set myself up for a junior college, you know, route pretty early on. And then still same thing, I didn't take junior college serious either. I mean, the program at school was so hard just to go put in that work to try to do good in the classroom too. I didn't really do. I grew up in honors classes, man. It's a crazy thing, you know, but then, you know, you start hanging out with the wrong people, thinking what's cool. Like, oh, I'm so good at baseball, like grades ain't gonna do much for me. Stupid kind of thinking, man, but I had that approach. So I had to go NAIA. After junior college, I had a decision for 3 colleges. York College out here in Nebraska, Bellevue, which isn't too far from us. I think they're D2 now, actually, because they were a good baseball program for NAIA. And then Concordia out in LA. But I was drawn to York out here, man. It was the smallest school. They had gone to the NAIA World Series the year before, and I just felt really connected with the coaches. And it ended up being the best decision I made, just because it was a Christian college, you know, and I wasn't a big man of faith like that, man. I grew up in catechism, you know. We didn't go to church, you know, but I had to go to catechism class. And then, you know, probably from like 6th grade on, It's just church wasn't a thing. I always believed, but going to that school, man, like you're doing chapel every day, 30 minutes, where you're doing a prayer, you're doing some type of talk, singing two songs, hymns, whatever. And looking back, man, it was just good. It was like immersing into, just being around, hearing about scripture all the time. I didn't like it. I tried to skip it as much as I can, be away from it, but it did some work subconsciously.
Most definitely.
Yeah.
And for those of y'all that don't know where York, Nebraska is, it's okay, because neither do I, and neither does the rest of the world. It's
for real.
crazy. He came from Stockton, California, Sacramento proper.
Yeah.
Or is that Sacramento?
Yeah, we're about 45 minutes from Sac.
From Sac. Came from where Sacramento is, around there, to, man, how many people is in York?
I think at the time it was like 8,000 people in the whole place, bro. Little old town right off the interstate.
That's a culture shock.
Yeah.
Bro, what was it like going from a place where diversity wasn't even a word, it was just a lifestyle. Like,
yeah, bro.
You don't even say, man, we're really diverse. It's just like, no.
You don't know shit.
Yeah, you don't
if
know.
If anything,
like,
white people out there was the minority, bro. You feel me? Like,
you come from that to now you're you probably have one, I think York has one main street, right? And then a cross street.
Yeah.
And then, it's just like Wayne. Yeah, one main street,
little
cross
town
street,
square kind of thing. Yeah,
probably like 2-3 bars.
Yeah.
Did they have a Pizza Hut or Dairy
I think
Queen?
they had one out towards the interstate. Yeah.
McDonald's?
Yeah.
Yep.
They had all that stuff. But.
Bro, what was that experience like for you?
It was crazy, man. Because you go out on your initial visit. I did a visit before I decided to go there. It's like you don't really get to like take in what's really going on. You get on the campus, you're like, all right, this is cool, but you're not going through the town. You're not like knowing what the life is like, the people around, the community. So I get there and it's a lot different, but I've never been like the party type either. Okay. Like I don't like going out, partying and getting fucked up and shit like that. Like I like to drink, but I'm like put me in a kickback, man, like a slow pace setting with the homies or something and a few people. Like 15, 20 people tops. So it was all right. I could deal with it. But yeah, man, it was completely different. I had my homies on the team, man. We all were in it together. So we just came up with things to do, go work out, go play. They had the basketball court, they had everything on campus. So like, pool, stuff like that. But yeah, and it was a dry campus too. So it was hard, man. It was tough.
How long were you out there for school?
I did 3 years. So my first 2 years I did baseball, but I had to finish a 5th year for my degree.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. And when you were there, that's when you really started to explore on a deeper level your faith.
Unknowingly, yeah.
Yeah.
Unknowingly.
At what point, or was there a specific moment where you were like, man, like I'm bought into this? Like,
yeah.
Talk about it.
So that's a whole journey in itself too. So I get out of college, well, I'm right at the end, and I pick up Think and Grow Rich. That's what really like sparked all of this. And then from Think and Grow Rich, man, like scripture was always there, but it was like I didn't want to dive into that because it was always church, always religion, Christianity. So I went down different rabbit holes. Like I wanted to study like Hinduism, Kabbalah, bunch of the different things. Mediums. I did a ayahuasca retreat. I went down this pattern of exploring so many different avenues, psychology, life coaching stuff. The program that I got my certificate from, Chloe Madonis was his partner, since she was one of the top family therapists. So a lot of my program I went through had a lot of family therapy teachings. And then just doing all these different religions and, spiritual practices and like learning about it all, like you just see that there's patterns, like it all comes. And like ultimately what I found out, man, is like everything stems from one. God is God. It's just one. You want to call it universe, source, power, whatever. He is the source of all the power, all creation. Yeah, man, and it's easy to plug in faith once you like start seeing all the patterns and all these different teachings. Doesn't matter the religion, like they all have the same kind of principles and goals at the end. It's just a different story being told in a different way, essentially. Mm-hmm. But yeah, man, I got really deep into like the spirituality stuff. I'm not a religious person.
Gotcha.
I believe in Jesus. I believe the red letters. I study a lot of the red letters of the Bible. I've done a lot of Bible stuff too, to where it's like, there's some contradictions in there, some different teachings and how to go about, being redeemed and entering the kingdom of heaven and all that kind of stuff. But ultimately what I found out is just Jesus teaches, first thing he ever says to do is seek ye first the kingdom. Well, what does he teach? Where's the kingdom? The kingdom is within you. And that's the one thing that I learned is sometimes in religion, not all the time, but they teach you that God is an external God. That God's out that way, like you got to die, do all this stuff before you get to really experience God in that way. To me, that's an absolute lie. It's deception. It's like you said, where you get to that super conscious God flow. Can God hear your thoughts? Does God know what you're going to do? So if he could hear your thoughts and know all this stuff, how is he not within you already? So it's just like you find out that God's in you. Now you start detaching from ego. When you start making decisions based on your wants and needs, let that flow through you, man. That's the whole principle of everything. Doesn't matter spirituality, every religion, it's all stems down to just, he's there, he lives in you, he's all power, everything.
So you come to that realization, how does your life start to change from there?
Oh man, it's unfolded beautifully. So coming from my background, man, like you wouldn't think that you would amount to a lot. Like life doesn't have a lot of good stuff in store for you. But like I made that shift, Think and Grow Rich, especially that book did. That unlocked something in my brain to, like we said, if someone else could do it, why can't we? So I just started learning all these principles from, like I said, religious teachings, elite classes, people who have been in like the Brotherhood and the Freemasons and stuff. I don't mess with that kind of stuff. But hearing what they have to say, it's all, like I said, patterns. And so my life changed the most by just understanding, like, hey, like I said, with the metaphorical T, like your perspective. My brand that I built is Vantage Mindset. Vantage is like that vantage point, top of the mountain, it's your highest elevated, like the highest version of yourself. Mm-hmm. Like that's what it all kind of stems down to, is how do you get to that highest version of yourself? Well, you got to detach from the ego. You got to, like baptism. When you get baptized, you die to that version of yourself to be reborn. It's the same concept. You do that every single day. You do that multiple times a day. But you have to have focus. You got to know where you want to go. You have to know who you want to be. Most people don't spend a lot of time. They have a general sense of where they want to end up, but they don't know the specifics. They don't know who it takes to, like what version of them it takes to get to that point in their life. So you just spend time conversating with yourself, conversating with God. Like God, I'm a real big, like Jesus or God tells Moses, Elijah, all them, the I am. I'm real big on the I am. Like I said, I believe that God dwells within us. So I said, God, who do we want to become? Because God lives in you as you. That's my belief. He lives in us as us. We're just experiencing life as God, but just as ourselves at the same time. We're individualized. But ultimately, it's like, okay, well, how do I stop being Rudy? Kind of let God flow more. And I think that's a lot of the principles that Jesus taught. I think if people could understand that they have the ability to do that, we'll have a lot greater conversations, greater communities, a lot less suffering, a bunch of stuff like that. So,
man, and that's the thing that ultimately led to you building your brand, building your business.
Yeah.
Did you start that immediately after college?
No.
No?
I started all the teachings and learning and stuff.
After college?
Yeah.
Okay. Mm-hmm. So you're building that up and things are going good?
Yeah. I guess I could give a quick little background. Yeah. So I graduate college. I know I want to be a life coach. I get certified a year later. I'm like, man, like I still haven't done shit. I'm nobody, like what have I done? I'm a waiter at a restaurant. I do that for 5 years. And that's when I come into the point of like, all right, look, dude, you need to stop bullshit and like make a decision and do something. I'm $50,000 in debt with student loan and credit cards, buying all these programs, online courses, trying a bunch of different shit, bro. Like I spent hell of money. Everything I worked for, I didn't go out and party, buy clothes, shoes. That shit went into like personal development, education stuff. But I was like, all right, I found a mentor. To this day, I've worked with him for like 7 or 8 years. I still have never met him in person, not even a Zoom call. It's just always on the phone. It's pretty surreal how that relationship is, but he's like, all right, what do you want to do? Well, he gave me an idea. Like my first business was a cleaning business because my mentor, which his mentor was Bob Proctor, his first business was a cleaning business and he blew it up. Hey, why don't you do that? I looked into it. I'm like, fuck, you need a vacuum, some rags, some spray bottles, and you could make money just with, a little bit of expenses. So I did that, man, and just like I started studying all these principles, life coaching. When I was working as a waiter, I was working on my people skills with intent, like literally focused, like, let me match and mirror these people. What's their tonality? What's their body language like? Like specifically focusing and watching people. So because you want to influence, you want to build rapport, just mirror the person, mirror their energy, mirror their tone of voice, their frequencies, the speed of their voice. Like you shake your head, I shake my head. It just builds rapport subconsciously. Started studying all this kind of stuff, applying it as a waiter. So it's just like everything aligns, like I didn't plan for it to be that way. I didn't even know it would, go like that, but it all kind of plays a part in the full story, full circle. So yeah, just did all that, man, and started the business, doing a few accounts. Actually, 3 years later, I grew it to $1 million, a year in revenue. It's running itself. I'm kind of just chilling.
You no longer have to clean. You don't got.
Yeah, I don't got to do nothing. I hired a CPA, help with my taxes, all the IRS stuff. Someone to help with the books, just the day-to-day, tracking and expenses, and then a manager to run operations. And I'm just kicking back. At this point, like my goal is success. Of course, I want I have really high goals, making like huge amounts of money. Am I there yet? No. But what success was to me at the time, having a way to make money to where you get to do whatever you want, whenever you want. I got that on a smaller scale, but now, it gives me the ability to be on podcasts, throw events like I just did, a business event, speak at different conferences and stuff. You saw me speak at the conference we were at, start multiple businesses. Like the first year of my life, bro, or not my life, my son's life, I spent every single day with him, almost every morning. Like all the time we spent just holding him, giving him, letting him sleep on my chest. Dude, like we're so bonded. And fortunately, I was able to spend all that time with my son because I wanted to. I golf a lot, bro. I probably golf like 50, 60 times this summer.
Oh, damn. Yeah, just really golf.
Weekdays, just weekdays, everything. Just because I have the freedom, what I mean? Like I bought nice things. I bought a house. I bought like 6 cars. I got jewelry on, it's like,
come on.
I've been able to buy stuff. That stuff really ultimately doesn't, do much. It's just, to me, just being able to have the freedom to make choices, to do what you want, when you want. Like, I got that. I've experienced it. I will never let that go away because I have the experience and the knowledge I have. If I ever lost everything, you can get it right back. Yeah.
Yeah. Come on.
So
I wanna put a fork in the road real quick. You're in the process. Go back 5 years in the process of building, and you're creating this landscape, and it's starting to look good, and then you get hit with another life-changing moment in the form of a phone call.
Yeah.
Take us back to that.
Yeah, so I was out here. This is when my cleaning business started to take off. I had got myself to the point where I had like 25 residential accounts, and I got like three commercial accounts. And one of them was a bigger one, 5 days a week. It's like 12 labor hours a day at this facility. And so that takes, a team of 3 or 4. But I was one of them. I wasn't there yet. So I'm coming into all this, being busy, having routines, employees. I get a phone call that my brother was in a car accident. We didn't know till like 24 hours later. We were kind of like wondering, calling everywhere. We finally found out he was in a county hospital. He was involved in a car accident. It was just himself. He had ran into a tree. Car was fucked up. Like, looked like someone would have died in it. He was able to get out.
He was able to get out? Like he got
they got him out.
Okay.
The officer on the scene, man, like he was up. I think he was probably up for a little bit. He like drinking and partying a little bit. He was more into that lifestyle. He wasn't that. He didn't gangbang or nothing, but like, if out of all the brothers, he was the closest. So like, he was cool with everybody, that did gangbang. Mm-hmm. So he just lived that lifestyle. I think honestly, he just was like swerving and just kind of like, right on the edge of like feeling too good to where he hit the tree. Anyway, I'm not trying to, like, I hope that doesn't mean like he deserves what he got or nothing, but he got in this car accident. The officer on the scene didn't know whether to arrest him or send him to the hospital, just to give some context. but his condition, they took him to the hospital. I think I even heard that they had to like go in through his rib cage to like help with the breathing in the lung because there was some internal bleeding. So he's laid up. He gets on a ventilator. The ventilator's doing about 80% of the breathing for him. He's in there for about a week and a half. I have to leave my business and everything. You know, it's my brother. I have to be here. I go to California. This is where this all happened. And at that time, I really had to like, this is where I learned a lot about my business of like, oh, it's okay. I can be away. How do I delegate different tasks to different people? Like that's what really gave me that biggest eye-opening aha, like, oh, this is possible.
Yeah.
But anyways, getting back to him, I get out there. He's doing cool. He's recovering more and more every day. There's times like he gets up, man, and he's like, wakes up, he's trying to rip all the tubes off. So he's coming back to consciousness. You know, it's not like he's laid up, about to die or nothing like that. Anyways, they keep sedating him. And I think this is where everything went wrong. And mind you, this is 2020. This is
pandemic time.
Pandemic time, not long after Kobe died. Yeah, it's all brand new. So they didn't even let my parents go into the hospital room to be by his side, bro, for 2 weeks. Like they couldn't even go in the room. It was all through an iPad, bro. We were in the parking lot talking to our brother laid up, you know, through an iPad. Like that's all we got. And I went back because it just seemed like he was cool, like he had it at this point, you know. So I came back. I needed to get back to the business. Anyways, like a day and a half, 2 days after I get back, I get a call. He's like, hey, his body swelled up. He got some type of infection or something like MRSA or whatever kind of infections they get. So he's like 2-3 times his size. They decide to take him to UC Davis, which is the top hospital out in California. They have the special dialysis machine. They get him all hooked up. They want to go in and check his organs to see like the swelling, like how tight it is and, you know, all that kind of stuff. When they go to put the camera down to check, they knock out the ventilator and it causes an instant heart attack and he died. And that's how that all went down, man. But then they had to say that, oh, he died because of the car crash 2 weeks ago. That's what caused the death. So it was just a real eye-opening, you know, like life experience that I had to go through. Like I said, I'm a big believer, man. Like no matter how traumatic of an experience, nothing can exist without a plus or a minus. There's an equal and opposite reaction to every single thing in life. Something that negative, that bad, that hurt so much, there has to be a positive side. Like, of course, I'm not thinking this as he died, you know, but as time goes on and you're coming to, it's like, you just faith of a mustard seed that, hey, I don't understand it. I never will probably understand the truth, but I just trust that there's something equal on the opposite end somehow. And I just made a promise to him. I think, what would I want from people if I died? I know he'd be like, hey, D, dude, like, don't let this fuck you up. Don't let this hold you back, bro. Like, use this shit. Well, I didn't die for nothing. Like, you gonna let me die for nothing and not use it? I just hear him talking to me like this in my brain. And you can kind of create that. You can get them to say whatever, because that's what I would say to my brothers, my family, my friends. And so I just really made this decision, like, how do you honor someone that you love that passes away? Well, you do what they would want you to do. If you don't have faith enough in yourself to do it for you, do it for them. I just kind of ran with that, you know? And so that's how it's been the positive side of losing him. I wouldn't trade nothing, no amount of money, you know, for him to be gone. I'd give up everything for have him back, but I don't have that choice. The choice I have is how do I use his death to motivate me, to inspire me, to help others to, I don't know, love life, experience while we're here. It could be taken away at any given moment, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Did everybody in your family take it that way?
Nah. Everybody had their own path, way to grieve. Man, the hardest thing was my mom, dude. Like, now that I have a kid, I get it. I understood it because the brother's the next closest thing. Yeah. Now that I have a kid, to experience losing a kid, I feel like would be different than, you know, losing my brother.
It's crushing.
And it was, man, I could remember it clear as day, dude. Like I said, I had already been back, but then when they came back from California, I had to meet them at the airport, and I was scared, dude, to see my mom. Like, I'm getting teary-eyed right now. You feel me? Like, it was just one of those things. Like, we locked eyes and just fucking broke down. We weren't even close to each other yet, but once we seen each other, it was like, fuck, dude. Like, I was scared for that moment, and I don't know. We get past it. She took her the longest, which of course, why wouldn't it? My other brothers, you know, my brother he did drugs, did cocaine, just partied, get past it. My other brothers have like anger problems from it and stuff, but we're all good for the most part, you know, now. But yeah, everybody's got their own little path to get through it. Mm-hmm. Some fast, some slow.
I was talking with another one of my podcast guests, and I talk about this all the time in therapy. Like, I don't think we ever truly get over death. You never get over it. It's just like you just learn how to dress the wound better.
Yeah, it's like a scar or something. Like, you know, you carrying around a scar the rest of your life doesn't mean you're less, you know, you're less imperfect or you're less beautiful or good looking. You know, like now you're just more unique in your own way. Absolutely. And run with it.
Absolutely. Know? All of this life has allowed for you to become the very person that you are today, the very father that you are today, the businessman that you are today, the creative that you are today, the person who's able to hold the wisdom and intellectual capacity that you do today. Nothing about your story has discounted you and the position that you hold. Mm-hmm. For somebody out there that's watching this right now, that feels like the grief that they've experienced, that feels like the trauma that they've experienced, that doesn't feel close to their parents, that feels violated from their parents from their childhood and never got any closure, that lost the people who was closest to him, that can't trust, that all of these different things that, if I look at it from this perspective, justifies all of the reasons why life is going the way that it's going for them. What would be a piece of encouragement that you would give to them that they could take from this episode and apply in real time?
Yeah, I would just say, you know, if you're in a situation like that and life is a little difficult to understand, ultimately, you know, like I said, I'm real big on coaches and mentors, reach out to somebody. But more than that, you have to understand, like, you got to ask yourself the question, do you want to change? Yeah, like, do you want to change? If you don't want to change, it doesn't matter what you do. Like, you won't change. If you want to, like I said, there's different places, people, Payton, you know, myself, reach out. What I could guarantee is that I could change anybody's life to be like mine, or just, you know, their version, but just a success story for them. Anybody. But if you don't want to, if you don't want to make that change, then it's pointless. So just get that desire built up. You know, like I said, faith starts with the mustard seed. The same thing with this hope for a better version of you, that you can escape this. Start with just a mustard seed, man, and run with it. Just start wanting it. You don't have to have a reason why you want it. You don't have to be special. Like, God's abundant. God has this in store for everybody. There's hundreds, thousands of people out here just like the two of us that we're here to help you, you know, for free too, as much as our time and everything, our resources allows us to. Like, if we can't do it ourselves, I guarantee you we both have connections and a place to point you, you know? And so that's the beauty of life. Just like I said, though, man, you just got to want it. You don't have to have a reason why. Just want it. Just want to change.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Bro, your story is powerful. There is going to be somebody who's listening to this that is going to be liberated. I say this at the end of every episode because I believe we all have stories. Just when we're able to get it out there, man, and when we're able to actually speak on it, like the way God sets up testimonies, bro, it's built to liberate. Yeah. It's built to liberate. And so Facts. I just want to say I appreciate you for being vulnerable, being willing to share your story, being willing to talk about the things that you have went through to build the man that is sitting here in this office on this pod today.
Appreciate that.
Because I know time is limited, but you did the right thing and you bought back your time by grinding early on. Yeah. And so nonetheless, I appreciate you. And for all of y'all that are watching, I appreciate you for tuning in to another episode of the CYR podcast, because you know, when you clean your room, you change your life and you can create your reality. We out.
Facts.
Yeah. How you felt about that, bro?
Oh, that was good, man.
Yeah, it was.
Shit.
It was.
I felt like that could have. You barely scraped the surface, you know what I mean? But
we might have to get you back for part 2.
yeah.